Now let's discuss how to access structure member using pointers. Structure member using pointers. Okay. So as usual, I'll start with hash include stdio.h int main. So first, let me define a structure. So we have to define the structure with struct. Struct. I'll give employee. So I'll give first one with capital. Okay, fine. Now I'm going to give two members, int emp id, employee id, name of 50. Okay, and then I have to give a semicolon for the structure. I'm going to create a structure member variable. Struct employee e is equal to, I'll initialize the value. So I'll give 101 is the employee id, name I'll give it as Tamil. So I've initialized structure member variable. Fine. Now I'm going to create a pointer. Struct employee star ptr. So now what happens in the sense? So whenever I'm creating a structure member variable, the memory will be allocated for this. So the structure name is employee. So this will be employee id and this will be name. So I'll give the employee id as 101 and the name is Tamil. Done. So memory allocated and the value has been initialized. Now I am creating a pointer variable called ptr. So what happened? I'll take one more variable. This is ptr. Let's assume this address to be 2000. So here the starting address will be like 1000 integer, right? Then it is character array. So I'll give 1004. So the name is employee e. Structure member variable e. Structure member variable e. Fine. Now what I'm going to do is, I've created a pointer variable. I'll give ptr equal to ampersand e. What is the meaning here? So address of e, the base address will be taken, that will be stored in ptr. What is the base address? 1000. 1000 will be taken and that will be stored in ptr. Base address will be taken and that will be stored in ptr. Now with the help of ptr, if I am trying to access employee id, ptr arrow mark employee id, because if it is a pointer, we have to use arrow mark operator, not dot operator. Earlier we were using dot operator, but here we are dealing with pointers. If you are dealing with pointers, you have to use arrow operator. Now let's print both e and ptr so that you can get to know how it works. %d space %s. I'll give e dot emp id comma e dot name. Okay, fine. Now I'm going to use pointer. So if it is a pointer, I should not use dot operator, I should use arrow operator. So ptr arrow employee id comma ptr arrow name. This is how I have to go. To see the difference, I'll give new line here. Let me save this. Let me run the code. Okay, there is an error here. Not p, it is ptr. That is why I have got an error. Let me run the code. See, 101 Tamil, 101 Tamil, because here the base address has been stored here. When I try to access e.employee id, 101 will be printed. E.name, Tamil will be printed. Similarly, when I give ptr arrow mark of employee id, so ptr is pointing to the base address called 1000. In the 1000 employee id, so ptr arrow mark employee id will give 101. Ptr arrow mark name will give Tamil, because the base address of this structure is stored in another pointer variable. That's all. So whenever you are accessing a member which is a pointer, you have to deal with arrow operator. If it is not a pointer, you can use dot operator. Now let's get the input and print output using pointer operator. So here, okay, I'll create a struct employee e. Fine. So I'll create a pointer struct employee star ptr. So what I am going to do, ptr equal to ampersand e. Fine. Now I want to get the input value for these two members. So which is equal to scanf %d space %s comma ampersand ptr arrow mark employee id comma ptr arrow mark name. That's all. I have got the input value from the user. Now I want to print this. Print of %d, %yes, comma, ptr of employee ID, comma, ptr of name. That's all. I'll give return 0. Let me save this and let me run the code. I have to give the input value 101. I'll give Tamil. See, I've got 101 Tamil. I'm getting the input and output using pointers. Okay. When you're dealing with data structures, we'll be dealing mostly with pointers. So at that time, we'll be using arrow operator only. Now let's deal with array of pointers. So I'll give struct employee e of 3. So I have declared an array. Now I'm going to deal with pointer. So struct employee star ptr. So what I'm going to do, ptr equal to e. Why am I not giving ampersand? Because array is an implicit pointer. Directly I can give e. Now I want to get the input value from the user. So I'll take for loop. For int I is equal to 0, I less than 3, I plus plus. So first I have to get the input value for employee ID. So scan of %d, %yes, comma, ptr. So ampersand I have to give ampersand because I'm going to get the input value from the user. Ampersand ptr arrow mark employee ID. Next one is name. So ptr hyphen name. I've got the input value from the user. Now I'll take a for loop to print the value. Okay, it is an array, right? So ptr plus I. Ptr plus I hyphen employee ID because it is an array. I thought it is a normal single variable. That is why I have been ptr of name. Here it should be ptr plus I because it is an array. Similarly, ptr plus I. Okay. Similarly, if I want to print the values, I have to give star. So before watching this, I want you to go with the concept of pointers. Then only you can understand this. So I less than 3, I plus plus. Print of %d, %yes. I'll give new line after printing every data. So star ptr plus I hyphen employee ID because I have to use arrow operator. Similarly, star ptr plus I hyphen name. Let me save this and I'll give return 0. Let me run the code now. Okay, there is an error here. Unary operator. Okay, here the star should be removed. Directly I can give ptr plus I. That's enough. Let me run the code now. So I have to get 101 Tamil, 102 Ram, 103 John. See, I've got all the data from the user using pointers and I have printed it. So array of structure using pointers. Okay, so till now we were allocating memory statically. Let's go for dynamic memory allocation. Okay, so here struct employee star ptr. So I have to give ptr is equal to, so typecast because malloc function will return me a void pointer. So I have to typecast. So I'll give struct employee star. Fine. And what is the size I have to give? Size of this structure. What is this structure? Struct employee. So I have allocated the memory for ptr. Now I have to get the input value from the user. Scan of %d, %yes, comma, ampersand ptr of employee ID, comma, ptr of name. Because this is not an array, that is why I have not given plus I. Directly only one member I have got. So I'll give printf %d, %yes, comma, ptr of empid, comma, ptr of name. Then I'll give return 0. That's all. Let me run the code now. So I'll give 101 Tamil. See, I've got the output value. Now we have dynamically allocated the memory for the structure. That's all.